The slow collapse of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Big pretty cars, big diamond rings in the family.
10 moments in the slow collapse of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Not a breakup. There was never a breakup. That is the part most people get wrong.
I wanna give it all to you.
This group did not end in a hotel room argument or a press release. It came apart the way a building comes apart, one load-bearing piece at a time, over 25 years, while the records kept selling and the name kept touring, and almost nobody outside Philadelphia noticed what was happening underneath.
I told myself time and time and time again.
4 #1 R&B singles, 2 #1 R&B albums, a platinum record, and by the end, the man whose name was on all of it could not speak.
Makes a man's home his castle, and his life is so.
Let me tell you how it happened, in order.
Lose your home, don't force your woman and everything.
10. The name went up first.
We've been through, you should understand.
Before I tell you what collapsed, I need to tell you what was built and who built it.
When I come home a little late at night.
Because Harold Melvin is the least understood man in this entire story. And everything that follows starts with a decision he made when he was a teenager.
Our own funny moves.
Harold James Melvin was born in Philadelphia on June 25, 1939.
Get yourself together. Oh, we might as well say good.
Self-taught pianist, started singing doo-wop as a teenager with a group called the Charlemagnes.
Oh, don't get so excited.
In 1954, he put together a quintet and named it the Blue Notes. Himself, Bernard Williams, Roosevelt Brody, Jesse Gillis Jr., and Franklin Peaker.
We only act like children when we argue, fuss, and fight.
And understand what Melvin actually was in that room. He was not just a singer. He wrote, he arranged, he choreographed, he organized. He was the one who made the group a group.
Like I understand you.
And then he put his own name on the front of it, not the Blue Notes, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
I've got mine.
That decision, made by a young man with nothing, protecting the one thing he had, would end up outliving every person it was meant to protect.
You'll never, never, never know me.
Because here is what almost nobody tells you. That name went nowhere for 18 years. 18.
Ain't gonna do nothing to upset our happy home.
Their first single, If You Love Me, came out on Josie in 1956 and stayed regional. My Hero on Valwoo in 1960 was a minor hit. Get Out and Let Me Cry on Landa charted R&B in 1965, and then nothing.
Lose your home, don't force your woman and everything.
They cut records for Dot, for Checker, for Arctic, for Uni, label after label after label.
We've been through, you should understand.
Harold Melvin was 33 years old before he had a hit. And I want to be precise about this. Most of the men who started with him in 1954 were not there in 1972 to see it happen.
When I come home a little late at night.
The name survived the wait. The people did not. That is the shape of this whole story, and it starts here.
Get yourself together. Oh, we might as well say good.
A name that lasts longer than the men who answer to it.
Oh, don't get so excited.
9. Bernard Williams walked and took the name with him.
See, people are too busy today. They don't want to hear about what you got because they're trying to get it too.
Bernard Williams was there at the beginning.
About them and you won't even buy them a drink. But yet and still you call them your friends.
Co-leader, one of the four men Harold Melvin gathered in 1954, and by the middle of the 1960s, he had had enough.
At the right time.
Put yourself in that room for a second.
She ain't bad. So listen.
It is 1965. You have been singing for 11 years. You have one minor hit and one R&B chart entry to show for it. The lineup keeps turning over, and every marquee, every label, every promoter's poster says another man's name above yours.
Is that any way to be?
So Williams left, and he did not just leave. He started his own group, and he called it the Original Blue Notes.
Be for real, yeah.
Sit with what that means. As early as the mid-1960s, before a single hit record, before Philadelphia International, before Teddy Pendergrass had ever sung a note in front of them, there were already two groups in America calling themselves the Blue Notes.
For real. Hey, lady.
Two claims on one name, one with the founder, one with the founder's original partner.
And all I can hear is people.
Melvin brought in a new lead singer, John Atkins, and kept moving.
See, I'm tired of people going behind our backs, talking about his woman this.
And that is the thing about this group that never got fixed. Not in the 60s, not in the 70s, not ever.
Why?
The name was always worth more than the arrangement holding it together, and everybody in the building knew it. If the Blue Notes were on your parents' record player growing up, you probably never knew there was a second version of them out there working clubs the whole time.
As long as you live, whether you're with me or not.
That is not a footnote. That is the fault line. Real talk. Only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's $1 coffee a month, and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. 8. John Atkins. Quit 1 year early. John Atkins sang lead for Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. He is not on any of the records you know, and the reason why is one of the hardest pieces of timing in Philadelphia soul. Atkins came in after Bernard Williams left. He carried the group through the back half of the 1960s, the club dates, the small labels, the touring that went nowhere. He did the unglamorous years, the years when it was work and not much else. And in 1970, he quit. That same year, Melvin had recruited a young drummer for the backing band. A Philadelphia kid who had been keeping time for a local group called the Cadillacs.
Oh, yes, you did.
Ordained as a minister at 10 years old, 20 years old now. Name of Teddy Pendergrass. When Atkins walked, Melvin moved Pendergrass out from behind the drum kit and put him in front of the microphone. Two years later, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were signed to Gamble and Huff's Philadelphia International. 2 years after that, they had a gold record. John Atkins missed it by 1 year. He died of an aneurysm in 1998. There is no hit single with his voice on it. There is no reissue with his photograph in the gatefold. He is a line in a paragraph about somebody else's arrival.
Things were so bad.
And if that name is new to you, that is not your fault. But it does not have to stay that way. John Atkins held this group together through the years nobody wanted. He deserves to be in the sentence.
I got everything.
7. The voice went up. The name stayed where it was.
Let's bring this day to a pleasant end.
Before I tell you what went wrong, let me tell you what Teddy Pendergrass actually was. Because it is easy, 50 years later, to reduce him to a sex symbol and miss the size of the instrument.
I've waited all day long just to...
That baritone was modeled on Marvin Jr. of the Dells, a sound Gamble and Huff had been chasing for years.
Plenty good loving all through the night, and then again.
And when the group signed to Philadelphia International in 1972, with Melvin, Pendergrass, Bernard Wilson, Lawrence Brown, and Lloyd Parks,
What I want to you, let me do.
some of the material on that first album had literally been written in the hope of landing somebody else. Pendergrass sang it anyway. I Miss You went to number 7 R&B.
Let me blow your mind.
And then, in September 1972, If You Don't Know Me By Now, number 1 on the R&B chart. Number 3 pop. Gold record certified that November. A Grammy nomination, a song Gamble and Huff had originally written for LaBelle, who never recorded it.
Let me do.
The following year, The Love I Lost, number 1 R&B again, number 7 pop.
Hold you gently in my loving arms.
A record widely credited as one of the first disco singles ever made. Earl Young's hi-hat, opening a door the entire industry would walk through.
Come here, baby.
And every night, on stage, audiences looked at the man singing and assumed his name was Harold Melvin. I will say clearly what most people won't. The billing was not a mistake. Melvin had earned that name across 18 years of nothing. But it meant the most recognizable voice in Philadelphia soul was standing under somebody else's marquee every single night, in front of people who had no idea.
Just to hold you in my...
That is not a small thing. That is a structural fault. And it was there from the first hit.
Closer, so close to me. Let's get lost in each other.
You cannot build a group on a voice and then refuse the voice its name. Not for long.
And you loving me.
The records were number 1. The arrangement underneath them was already failing. Six, Lloyd Parks and the Rotating Door.
Where is the love you said you'd give to me?
Lloyd Parks sang tenor on the lineup that signed to Philadelphia International in 1972. He is on the breakthrough, and then he was replaced. Understand what that means practically. The Blue Notes were not a partnership of equals splitting a pot. They were a group with a leader, a payroll, and a door.
Really didn't mean it. Why did you have to?
Jerry Cummings came in for Parks. Sharon Page was added, and she was extraordinary.
That's all I can do. Hey.
Her duet with Pendergrass, Hope That We Can Be Together Soon, went to #1 R&B in 1975. But look at the pattern over the whole run. Cummings and Wilson both gone by 1977, Page and David Ebo both gone by 1980, Dwight Johnson in, William Spratley in, Gil Saunders in on lead in 1982, out in 1992.
Had a sudden change of heart. I wish that you would tell.
More than 20 men and women passed through this group across its life.
And you were gonna say goodbye. But if you
Harold Melvin was the only constant. And that is not a scandal by itself.
else is love, all I can do is wait.
Plenty of great groups worked this way, and the Temptations survived it.
Where is the love you said you'd give to me?
But the Temptations had Motown behind them for decades.
Where is the love?
The Blue Notes had 4 good years of institutional support, and then 30 of Harold Melvin's willpower.
Says you've got to let me know.
Here is what the rotating door actually cost them. When you replace the people but keep the name, the audience eventually stops believing there is anybody in there.
Really didn't mean it. Why did you have to?
The name becomes a booking, not a band. Lloyd Parks sang on some of the most important soul records ever cut in Philadelphia. He is one of the very last men alive who can say that. Hold his name.
You were free. Will it ever be?
5. They cut it first. Somebody else got the Grammy. You know this song. It has been in your life for decades. You have heard it in clubs, in films, at weddings.
Don't you understand? I'm at your command.
But knowing the song and knowing what it cost these men are 2 different kinds of knowing. Let me give you the second one. In 1975, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes released Wake Up Everybody.
Without your love, oh baby.
#1 R&B album, #9 pop, platinum. The title track went to #1 R&B and #12 pop.
Let me free. Yeah. Need your loving, baby.
A genuine protest record with Pendergrass building from almost nothing to a roar.
Only you can love and set me free.
Buried on that same album was a track called Don't Leave Me This Way, Gamble, Huff, and Carrie Gilbert. Pendergrass singing lead.
Your tender kiss. Don't leave me this way.
It was not released as an American single. It sat there, an album cut.
So come on now and do what you gotta do.
Motown gave the song to Thelma Houston.
Satisfy the need in me.
Her version came out in 1976 and went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on April 23, 1977.
You started this fire down in my soul.
It topped the soul chart, it topped the disco chart, and at the Grammys, Thelma Houston won Best R&B Vocal Performance Female.
The need in me. 'Cause only you can love it.
The Blue Notes cut it first. Every note of the arrangement came out of Sigma Sound.
I can't exist. I'll surely miss.
And when the awards were handed out, Nobody said their name.
So come on, satisfy the need in me.
The group's own version was finally issued as a single in Britain in 1977 and became a hit over there.
Leave me this way, no. I can't survive.
In America, it had already been decided. The record store bins had Thelma Houston's face on them.
Need your love right now.
I know. I felt the same way when I found this.
Without your love, oh baby.
It was not theft. It was not even unfair. Exactly. Houston earned that record, and she is magnificent on it.
Let me be. Yeah. Need your loving, baby.
It was just the industry doing what the industry does.
Only you can love it and set me free.
The song was worth more than the men who made it, so the song went where the money was. 4. He got the billing. He left anyway.
Takes a fool to lose twice and start all over.
By 1975, Teddy Pendergrass was 25 years old and the most important male voice in Philadelphia soul,
I had a change of mind. Taking the bumps and
and he was, by his own account and everyone else's, deeply unhappy.
got to find me somebody new. Oh, baby.
The friction was two things at once, and people usually only tell you about one.
Why can't I find me somebody?
The first was recognition. Audiences thought he was Harold Melvin, and that had been true since the first hit.
Two-time loser.
The second was money. Melvin controlled the group's finances. Pendergrass sang the leads on nearly every record they sold.
Oh, baby. Looks like another love.
And in 1975, he got what he had been asking for. The act was formally renamed Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, featuring Theodore Pendergrass, his name on the label, in writing.
All this thing ain't working out for me.
He left anyway, in 1976, at the absolute peak, a platinum album on the shelf, 4 #1 R&B singles behind them.
To think I better let it go.
Because the billing was never the whole argument. The billing was the visible part of the argument. The money was the argument.
Try to take control.
And then it got stranger. For a brief period, Pendergrass fronted his own group of Blue Notes. Melvin had his.
Looks like another love.
There were, once again, 2 Blue Notes touring America at the same time, exactly as there had been a decade earlier when Bernard Williams walked out.
Caused me to lose all sense of time. I had a change.
Pendergrass dissolved his version and went solo. 4 consecutive million-selling albums.
Trying to hold on. Faith is gone. It's just
He became the biggest R&B star in the country. And in March of 1982, a car accident left him paralyzed from the chest down at 31 years old. Some of you just got quiet. That is the right response.
hold on. Faith is all gone. Just another chance.
He came back. Love Language in 1984, Live Aid in 1985, Platinum again with Joy in 1988.
Oh, somebody.
He kept going for another 25 years, and he never sang with the Blue Notes again. 3. Philadelphia International kept the voice and let the group go.
Makes a man's home his castle. And his life is so
Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff built the sound that made these men famous.
never played. When will I learn that every dream can?
They wrote the songs, they produced the records, and when the group came apart, they made a business decision and it was not a close call.
Been a lucky fella, I've been around.
Philadelphia International signed Teddy Pendergrass to a solo contract. They did not keep Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Think about the arithmetic. The group had just delivered a platinum album and 4 R&B number ones for that label. And the label kept the singer and released the group. So Melvin rebuilt. He brought in David Ebo on lead, a Philadelphia singer whose voice sat close enough to Pendergrass's that the records still work. He signed to ABC, and in 1977, Reaching for the World made the R&B Top 10. That was the last one, the last major hit this group would ever have. After ABC came Source. After Source came MCA. After MCA came Philly World in 1984, and an album called Talk It Up, Tell Everybody, that did modestly in Britain and nothing at home.
Around everywhere. Never known pain or sorrow.
4 labels in 7 years, each one smaller than the last. David Ebo sang lead on 4 Blue Notes albums. He died of bone cancer on November 30th, 1993. He was 43 years old.
Never had to care.
And whether the label made that decision as a calculation or just as a reflex, I think you already know the answer. Labels do not keep groups. Labels keep voices. That has never changed. To 2010.
Lose your home, don't lost your woman and everything.
Bernard Wilson was the flashy one.
Oh yeah, got bad love.
Ask the men who worked beside him, and that is the first thing they will tell you. The clothes, the mink, the diamonds, the Cadillacs.
If you want to know the truth about it, I'll tell you what's fooling you.
A North Philadelphia kid raised by his grandmother after his parents died young, who left school at 16 to sing. He was in the lineup that signed to Philadelphia International in 1972. His voice is on If You Don't Know Me by Now, on The Love I Lost, on Bad Luck, on Don't Leave Me This Way. His last known performance was sometime in the 1990s at the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. Now let me give you the years, in order, because the order is the point. David Ebo, 1993, bone cancer, age 43. John Atkins, 1998, aneurysm.
If you want to know the truth about it, tell you what's going to do.
Lawrence Brown, the bass voice under all of it, April 6, 2008, respiratory illness, age 63, and then 2010. January 13th, Teddy Pendergrass, respiratory failure after colon cancer, age 59. July 13th, Roosevelt Brody, an original member from 1954, complications of diabetes, age 75. December 26th, Bernard Wilson, in a nursing home in Voorhees, New Jersey, complications from a stroke and a heart attack, age 64. 3 former Blue Notes in a single calendar year. Sharon Page's death was reported in 2020. Gil Saunders died in February of 2021. Of the men and women who carried this group through its greatest work, only a small handful are still with us. And I will say clearly what most people won't. Not one of those deaths was national news. Not one. The songs were playing on the radio in every one of those years. The music survived, the names didn't, and that is not the same thing. One, Harold Melvin lost his voice.
War and poverty.
Harold Melvin was 57 years old. Still working, still leading a version of the Blue Notes, still booking dates more than 40 years after he formed the group as a teenager in Philadelphia. In the summer of 1996, he was planning a tour of Japan. Understand who this man was by then. He was a father of 5. He had outlasted every label that dropped him. He had rebuilt the lineup a dozen times. He had been singing under that name since Eisenhower was president.
When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can.
He had gone 18 years without a hit and never once stopped. He was the last one still standing in the thing he had made.
What it used to be, there's so much hatred.
In July of 1996, he suffered a stroke. It ended his career immediately. It left him bedridden, and it left him unable to speak.
The world won't get no better.
Let me be clear about what I am saying. Harold Melvin was a singer, an arranger, a choreographer.
Let it be. Na, 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 na. World.
A man who had spent 42 years using his voice to hold a group together through poverty, defection, replacement, and abandonment by 4 different record labels. And the last 8 months of his life were spent unable to say a word.
They're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands.
He died at home in Philadelphia on March 24, 1997. He was 57.
They do it every time.
He was laid to rest at Ivy Hill Cemetery.
War and poverty.
10 years later, in 2007, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. He was not there to see it.
Don't get no better. We gotta change it now.
They have never been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not once. Not yet.
Bring up all the builders.
And this is the part I need you to hold. Their music never stopped working.
If we just let it be. Na, 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 na.
Simply Red took If You Don't Know Me By Now to #1 on the Hot 100 in 1989.
Thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much.
A British band, 17 years later, going higher on the pop chart than the men who made it.
They don't have so very long before their judgment day.
John Legend and the Roots rebuilt Wake Up Everybody in 2010 with Common and Melanie Fiona, and it sounded like it had been written that morning.
So won't you make them happy before they pass away?
The songs are immortal, the men are a paragraph.
The world won't get no better.
Harold Melvin put his name on this group in 1954 to make sure it could never be taken from him.
Let it be. Na, 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 na. World.
And in the end, the name was the only thing that survived.
Gotta change it now, just you and me.
Not the voice, Not the men, not the credit, the name.
You and me